Hello, and welcome back to Mellohi, a DSMP podcast. This is episode 23, and today we'll be discussing Awesome Dude's character. As always, we refer to the characters by name and specify when we're talking about the writers, and we also try to focus more on analysis. So, welcome back to Mellohi. Just before we get started on what we're going to talk about this podcast, or this episode, I just wanted to mention that we now have a public Discord server.
Woo!
So I'm going to be putting the link to it in the description of this episode, and you can also find the link on our Twitter, and yeah.
Now you can come fight us about our DSMP opinions.
You can fight us live on the Mellohi Discord. I'm not used to it.
Yeah, it's not very big yet, but hopefully more people will join once this episode's out and get a bit more active.
Yeah, the link's on the Twitter, so I don't know if we said that already, but the link's on the Twitter, so
and I will be putting the link in the description.
Yeah, so
also on the Discord you can suggest like ideas to us and stuff.
yes.
Of stuff you want to hear us discuss.
Which we love to have, because that means we have to think of less ideas ourselves. You just do it for us. Alright, speaking of ideas, we should probably talk about idea for this week.
Talk about Sam.
Yeah, we're talking about Sam! You know, big bad Warden himself.
If you guys didn't know, his anniversary of being a character on the DreamSMP came up not too long ago.
Yeah, his anniversary of being on the DreamSMP for 1 year.
Yeah, that's like a kind of a whole thing with it. Like, cause Sam was one of the original members, but he took a break.
Yes.
For college.
Yep. He was one of the OG.
And he came back around, I think, midway through Manberg.
Around then, because he joined the Badlands, and he was there for Bad's little Manberg Pucktopia, who cares speech, from what I remember. And he was there during the final fight of November 16th. He was there for that too.
Yeah, he was definitely there for the formation of the Badlands, and their whole principle for breaking away from Manberg, from going against them, is because Schlatt killed cats.
Oh yeah, which is... It's a weird line to draw considering what they get up to later, but I mean,
No, it's like this happens like after Tubba's execution, so they're like, we're perfectly fine with you randomly deciding to execute one of the members of your cabinet during a public festival, but the fact that you kill cats, it's like that meme. It's like
I can excuse. Sorry, I draw the line. Sorry, I can excuse the murder of the public execution of one of your own cabinet members, but we draw the line at killing cats.
Yeah.
You can excuse execution?
That's just how the Badlands rolls, you know? They just, like,
Yeah.
it's just in their makeup.
They are the Badlands, you know? I do think it's funny that the pet murder is where they draw the line, considering, I feel like actual person murder, maybe that's just one of those things that, like, having a 3-life system, you know, like, everyone's kind of just like, murdering somebody one time is kind of a big deal, but they still have, like, another chance. It's fine.
I mean, it's funny that they didn't like the cat murder, even though, like, half the people... Actually, no. I think every person in the Badlands just goes on, or already was, just killing people's pets, especially in retaliation for things. I was just...
True.
They're just hypocrites. It's fine. Everybody in SMP is.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
Yeah,
has Bad killed pets?
I think so.
I don't think he's ever done it, like, super, like, not like sapnap levels of I am, like, a serial murderer of dogs. Or, like, he's not sacrificing cats, like, you know, or anything like that. But I think he has accidentally or, like, kind of intentionally killed something. I don't remember any specific instances.
Skeppy killed friend.
I know
Skeppy killed friend.
and...
Skeppy
one
killed
other person,
friend.
I can't remember, but yeah.
I think Bad has killed... I think Bad accidentally or was involved in the murder of one of Punz's pets. And I'm not totally sure on that, but I'm pretty sure he was, because...
I'm not caught up on my pet war lore, so I don't know.
I think it was something to do with, or maybe he killed Ant's panda by accident. I just know that Ant's Animal Sanctuary
His little
got
zoo.
robbed. I think by puns, and then him and BBH ended up fighting puns over it, and the panda died in the end. And I'm pretty sure it was Ant or Bad's fault. So I want to say he's probably been.
I remember that because I think that was actually like the first Badlands stream I watched, because like so I saw the animatic, right, of techno. No, it was
That would have been
Bad talking about the whole like, oh, we'll fight for the losing side and keep conflict going, and then I saw somebody mention that they thought that might come from him talking with techno and techno going like, oh, anarchy is cool.
Maybe.
So okay, so I gotta find where this happens. So I went to try and find where it happened.
when he talks about the whole it's
And I watched the panda stream because of that.
when he talks about the whole we're gonna go side with the, when Bad talks about we're gonna side with the weaker side, he isn't talking to anyone in particular. He's actually talking to his stream.
Oh yeah, Bad talks to his stream a lot.
Yeah, he was about to end, I think. So he was just like, Manberg, Poctopia, who cares?
Yeah, he loves to give the
To
ending
his
monologues.
stream. And it was so fun. Yeah. It was really cool.
Yeah, and I know
It's
know.
something I find kind of interesting about the DSMP is the fact that because, like we've talked before about how people kind of misinterpret it when they're viewing it as like a traditional narrative.
Yeah.
But there's also the aspect that because it's streaming, it's a lot more like a play than a movie or a TV show.
Yeah,
that
it's
makes
like a
sense.
puppet show
That's
almost.
true.
Yeah.
Like, it is a play / puppet show because they're like puppeting their characters on screen as they are describing what they are thinking. It's very much like you were watching
But
a
that
puppet
means you
show.
also get like monologues and soliloquies and all
Yeah.
this stuff. And what brings it up is recently I started watching one of the movies for Othello, the Shakespeare play.
Oh, I've watched a couple.
And one of the
those.
things that's really interesting about that movie is, at least so far, I don't know what happens with other characters further in, I've only watched like a third of it. But there's this whole thing where Iago will speak directly to the camera
Yeah.
when he's doing like this whole soliloquy
Yeah.
thing. Monologue, I can't remember which
They're
which
doing
one.
soliloquies.
It's like one is to another character and one is to the audience. I can never remember which is which.
Pretty sure monologue.
But it's really distinct, but you do never see that.
It's a very Shakespeare.
in a
I know it's a
regular movie.
Shakespeare thing. I don't know.
I know Shakespeare
should know
relies
this.
heavily on soliloquies, so I just usually call anytime somebody does that in the different movies a soliloquy.
I should. I should know this. I took an entire class about Shakespeare.
I think monologues is stuff other characters can hear, and soliloquy is when it's inner thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think so, yeah.
and it's like
Yeah.
you can get that in movies, but it's usually like it's narration. It's done as
Yeah.
narration.
And it's usually more artistic.
While in a play, it's the character themselves are directly speaking to the audience without any framing device.
Yeah.
Like it's them telling the story 10 years in the future. Like it often is in movies and books.
Yeah, and people, for some reason with DSMP, they just tend to forget that, if you have somebody giving a soliloquy, they're going to be unreliable to a degree, right? If they're stating plain facts, they're not being unreliable. But if you have, to bring up Shakespeare, but if you have, Macbeth giving his soliloquy about how he's not, he's doing what he must and all this stuff, obviously he's,
I think the important thing to keep in mind is just because it's their inner thoughts doesn't mean it's going to be truthful, because
yeah.
people lie to themselves and characters lie to themselves.
Yeah.
And Sam's to bring DSMP back into it. Character Sam has given quite a few monologues before. Well, not monologues. We give him both soliloquies and monologues. But he does this thing where he'll tend to almost go in a series of circles with his thinking when he's talking to the chat or himself. And people,
Romney's actually pretty similar.
yeah, and people will tend to take everything he says at face value. But it's if you did that, then when he's talking about bringing Schlatt back to life in the very beginning of at Schlatt's funeral, he's that VOD that only has 20,000 views somehow. I have no idea how, but basically he's talking about how bringing in Schlatt back is a good idea, and then it's a bad idea, and then it's a good idea, and then like Sam goes on to talk about how he wants power, and you're kind of just like, I mean, you just gotta take it as it is, but like because there's no real like, I mean, at that point the Badlands wasn't that powerful, so you're just kind of like, you know, that's just silly Sam, you know, he wouldn't actually do that. But then you like think about it, it's like yeah, he probably would have, like
he would.
And the same thing comes up again and again with people, like just they hear these monologues from the characters in the Dream SMP, and I'm like, you're gonna take different things from it depending on like who your fave is. That's just how it works. You have biases. It'd be like if you had two different sides of a stadium for a Shakespeare play, and you put the people who love one character on one side, people who love the other character on the other side. Like, they would be rooting for two different people and hearing two different things every time the person talked. So it's like that for
And actually, like, I'm actually just gonna bring this back to Othello again, because I am studying that right now, so it's like the most relevant thing I can think of. But something interesting I actually found, like, doing Othello in class, is how many people view Othello as the protagonist just because, like, his name is the name of the play.
Yeah.
And he's, like, the tragic hero. But, like, no.
He's not.
He's not the protagonist. Iago's the protagonist. He's this really interesting villain protagonist. And that's way more interesting than him just being, like, some mild antagonist that you barely see.
Yeah.
As he would be if Othello was actually the main character.
We should talk more about Sam now, though.
Sorry,
Sam,
I was just,
this
I was just
episode's
thinking,
supposed to be
That's
dedicated
relevant
to
to the
Sam.
Dream SMP in people saying, like, this character is, like, the protagonist, and not considering, you know, like, the actual
It doesn't
story
work
and
too
the fact
well,
that every
yeah.
character is the hero of their own story because of
It doesn't
their
work well in a
preconceived
roleplay.
notions
Yeah, it
of
doesn't
what a
work.
protagonist looks like.
That's
Yeah.
actually wait. That's actually kind of an interesting thing because I was watching Sam's Q&A recently, and somebody asked him how he feels about people like disliking his character or whatever, and he actually brought up like a very interesting thing about like why he's made his character the way he is because he thinks that every character who is kind of, I can't remember exactly what he said, but it's something along the lines of, like, he's made his character with the intent in mind that people are going to hate character Sam. And that he thinks that that is a necessary role in a story because you need a character for people to rally against sometimes in order to like another character. So, like, you could say that's kind of the case for, like, Tommy and Dream. Like, you kind of need Dream in order to like Tommy, because, like, if you think about back to, like, Exile, a lot of people really hated Tommy before that because they found him annoying, and then after Exile, they really, really got, like, rallied behind him a lot more. And Sam is now playing a character that he's trying to sort of fit that role. He's trying to be the character that people hate so that they can appreciate other
Basically,
characters
he's, like, trying to make the character Sam the character Dream of season 3.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting.
Yeah, I something like that. But it's like he's trying to make his character someone that people don't like for, you know, so other people, so people like other characters that you might not like otherwise.
Sorry, Writer Sam,
If you hate
like
my
him
character,
anyway.
you're doing it right. That means I'm doing something right.
Yeah. I mean, obviously
And
people
so,
are still
like,
gonna like him. That's just the nature of
Yeah.
characters. But yeah, no, like.
But there's a difference between, like, liking a character and then, like, liking to hate a character.
Yeah.
You know, like, that character you love to hate versus that character you just love to love. And, like, I think Sam's trying to become, at least for some people, that character that you love to hate and you want to, without making it, like, a completely, like, flat, like, boring character. It's just like, okay, well, I hate this guy. And I think he's doing a really wonderful job with that because, like, I hate Sam.
Yeah, it's because,
like,
he's so
but I
complicated.
love him.
Yeah.
Like, I feel so bad for him half the time because I'm just like, dude, you need therapy so badly. And I think that makes him, like, a really interesting character because he's got this very complicated, like, moral code and, like, idea of what he's doing and how he justifies himself to himself and, like, how he thinks of the world and what his, like, intentions are with, like, Dream, or how he can justify, like, what he does to Punk and stuff like that. So, like, when you're talking about, like, protagonists and antagonists, in collective role plays like this, I don't usually think they're Like, there are within certain point of views, but it's always
Certain
going to
I think
change.
a good way to think about it is that every character has their own
Personal
as a protagonist of their own
antagonist.
story and has their own antagonist.
Yeah. And I think that the thing that I find interesting, though, is, like, I don't think you could necessarily label Sam as a protagonist or an antagonist, because we even get his perspective, but again, if he's trying to intentionally make his character a character that, like, we love to hate, or, like, something like that, to amplify someone else's story, while still being the protagonist of his own perspective, it kind of puts him in this, like, weird, like, Twilight Zone of protagonist versus antagonist.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of really love that about Sam, because, like, we don't get his perspective too often, and it's always very short, like, short moments. But whenever we do, it's always something pretty big, like, and it provides a lot of insight into his character, like, the stream where he goes and saves Hannah from the egg. Like, that's short,
That's a
but we
really
still
important
get a
stream.
lot of... Yeah,
That was a very strong stream.
and it's really short from his perspective before he switches over to Hannah, but it shows a lot of, like, insight into how his character, like, thinks, or, like...
You know what's another good character Sam stream that's really short, and if you're interested in this character and you haven't watched it, you should really check it out. Is the one where they rescue him when I think it's Puffy and Tommy?
Yeah.
Rescue him from
Just
the egg.
the whole egg arc with Sam is very important. But even, like, I would argue just go to his VOD channel and just start at the beginning. I mean, I'm gonna be real. Like, if you really want to understand, like, how, like, because he actually lays out his entire character. The continuity of his character is actually shocking. Like, because people are gonna be like, oh, he changed so much so suddenly. He hates Tommy. He doesn't hate Tommy. He just... Like, he lays out exactly how his character is going to grow and become the warden of a prison from the, like, somehow from the beginning. I guess it just naturally progressed like that. So, like, it was only ever going to make sense that he would threaten to kill Tommy and tell him that, like, it was all his fault and stuff like that when in the prison. Like,
It's so annoying. It's so annoying to me, and I know it's from people who are going to watch, like, Tommy's point of view. But the whole thing where people were like he literally, like, tortured Punk.
And then
Like, heavily implied.
He killed.
is
to
it the
be,
thing
like,
where,
a
like,
lucid
people
dream,
say
and it
that
was
he's
like,
only a bad
he's
guy?
he's such a nice dad for Tommy.
it's like, nah.
And then the moment he starts shouting at Tommy, you suddenly have a bunch of people going, he's a terrible person, he's a villain now.
yelling
I'm
at the
crying.
bratty 17-year-old who got someone else killed is the way that, like, where you draw the line of, like, whether he's a bad dude or not. Like,
But killing,
I feel
like we crossed that line ages ago.
I actually think that
killing his significant other and then torturing
Yeah.
them for a useless keycard
To be honest, I can kind of get it. If you've got, like, more of an emotional connection to a certain character, you're gonna have a stronger response when something bad happens to that character. But seriously, like, before that happened, I was, like, seriously getting worried, because I do like characters a lot, that was gonna be another situation like with Filza, where there's all these expectations that he'll be, like, this great dad figure, and when he turns out to be, like, an actual, you know, like, realistic character with flaws and all that doesn't just come in to fix the narrative entirely, people just, like, turn on the character and start hating on him. I saw that happen to Filza. I did not want to see that happen to Sam.
I think one of the...
It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Fortunately.
And one of the most interesting, like, the awesome dad headcanon is actually one of the most interesting ones to come out of, like, all of this. Because, I'm gonna be real, people always get on everyone's, like, shit about, like, you know, the headcanons they make for, like, you know, character dream. But when you look at, like, the awesome dad headcanon, it's not really reflected in reality, only because people are almost looking at it from Tommy's point of view strictly. Because at any point you take a step back and you think about it, the only way Sam was ever going to be a father figure to Tommy was as a controlling one. As it, like, not in a way that's like, people think controlling means like, I'm character, like, you know, I'm evil. No, it's like, Sam's whole life is about control, paranoia, safety. So if he believes that he can, like, give Tommy these tasks with this robot and distract him from all the bad things...
Like, if that relationship had gone, you'd probably have found, it
just was not good.
Sam, like, sticking Tommy in like an obsidian box so he doesn't get killed.
Eventually, yeah, it just
route.
wasn't like
Just like
good, and people want to be like, well, he genuinely did care about Tommy a lot. Like you can, like it is obvious in everything that Sam did.
He's soft.
But the problem is that his care is conditional because he has some hierarchy in his head that he has laid out before. Where right now, currently, Dream is sitting at the top. Anything that is a risk to like Dream getting out of that prison is not worth it. So Tommy, like, bye. Punk, like he didn't care about the friendship, he didn't care about anything. He didn't care about the Valentine's Day stuff. He didn't care about all the chess like matches. He didn't care about anything to do with Punk anymore. He was a threat even with those useless cards because it showed that like Sam himself was flawed in his job as a warden, and that pissed him off. And so it's just interesting whenever I see people be like, we could have had it all, we could have had awesome dad. And it's like, I mad respect for you making a headcanon where Sam is this cool dad, but he would have been a shit dad from the beginning only because he needs to like, we'd have to go through a crap ton of like, self like reevaluation and like therapy and whatever the fuck to figure out his problems before he could ever become a father figure as a character.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's just one of the most interesting things I think like I see about Sam's character all the time is people getting mad because they're like, people are like, they're making Sam out to be this big bad villain. And I'm like, well, he is. I mean, as the warden, he will straight gut you for even coming near the prison. Like, that's pretty bad.
There was this whole like really weird thing going on at the start of the prison arc where some people were like saying that the warden and Sam were like different characters.
Nope, it's just Sam.
That was just people,
I
trying to
fell
come.
for
And like
it
I
because
think Sam had to like actually like confirm. No, character Sam and the warden are the same character.
I'll be honest.
Oh, what the heck was
I thought that way because he did have a character that he played that was separate to his actual character, Sam Nook.
Yeah, the Sam Nook.
And I thought it was a situation like that because I was getting all my information from DSMP Wiki, and you know how unreliable that place is.
We don't
But yeah, I really do think like
I did watch the streams and like I think what a lot of people he probably didn't notice is that with Sam Nook there was far clearer of a distinction.
Yeah, because Sam like directly refers to Sam Nook as a different person.
And even then there was still like people with headcanons that Sam was just pretending to be Sam Nook, and I was like, this character he made up, although it was later confirmed it's like a robot he built.
Something like that. I don't think we actually know what Sam Nook is.
Oh, also Character Puns has a crush on Sam Nook. That's a thing.
Sorry, it is.
That is canon.
That's a thing?
Yep.
You gotta think for robots.
I think it's from the stream where the Eggpire is celebrating Tommy's death, and they go to have a party in his hotel.
Yeah, and he's like, man, he calls him handsome and stuff, and he's like, thank you, and like all this, I'm like, oh my god, Puns, what the hell?
You know what? I'm not actually surprised by that because I'm pretty sure Puns and Sam did like the heaviest flirtation on that one stream where Sam and Boomer are cooking.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a clip of it somewhere of Sam just laying down the moves, and I'm like, you know what? That just seems like that's what their friendship is. Of course, that's gonna be the bit that they do. But also, good for you, Puns, and your robot infatuation, I guess, or whatever the hell Sam Nook is.
Okay, but so I think the reason why people kept coming up with the whole awesome dad thing is because they are literally strictly looking at Sam through his relationship with Tommy.
It's like,
that's
they're
it.
putting on the Tommy
They only
goggles.
cared about his character once Sam became relevant to Tommy's character. They only cared about Sam when he started the hotel for him. So they don't know anything about him before and don't know anything about him afterwards, just what he is and what he did with Tommy, and that was it. And so that's why they came to the awesome dad conclusion.
Yeah.
I think there's a subset of DSMP fans who are likely, a lot of them are probably more casual viewers who mostly watch from Tommy's perspective and probably occasionally others if they think it's relevant.
Yeah.
And because of that, they are in like the mindset of he's the main character, so when they think about things, they think about it in relationship to Tommy's character.
Yeah.
And that can be very frustrating if your favorite character is someone else completely different. and you're like, what? Can you please stop mischaracterizing them just based on what shows up in Tommy's stream?
It's what led to the whole, like, Sam wasn't a bad person in their eyes until he was yelling at Tommy, which leads to the whole meme of, like, I can excuse torture and chopping a man's arm off, but I can't excuse the yelling at a teenager when he does something wrong. It was like, you can do what now?
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, so there is, like, definitely this subset of people who watch specifically through, like,
And there's
Tommy's
like very much this
perspective.
double standard. They'll be like,
And-
oh, it's okay for Tommy to kill Dream because Dream killed Tommy before, but oh my god, Jack Manifold is evil for wanting to murder Tommy.
Dude,
Yeah.
that was just
But
funny. The nukes
Tommy's
were
a
funny.
perfectly innocent angel. He just wants to murder someone who is defenseless in prison, who surrendered to him
It is.
and cannot harm him at all.
Yeah.
What a sweet little boy.
Oh man, I wanted Jack to succeed so
But keep that
bad.
Jack Manifold apologism out of my
Yeah,
sight.
I wanted Jack to sorry. I wanted
Yeah,
him to
there are
nuke
Just
very
the
much,
fact that they missed just
from
by
that
like
specific group of
5
fans,
minutes or
this
something
double
was so
standard.
funny.
It would have been so funny if Tommy like just was just there talking to Nikki about like, I swear to God, I'm not even kidding, he was talking about poop. I don't listen, this dude, I
I
swear to
don't
God.
remember what he was talking
If
about.
he just
but it was
got like
weird.
nuked mid sentence, I would have laughed so fucking hard. Like,
It would have been hilarious.
oh my God.
That would be hilarious.
That's the thing, like, Rocket Duo is honestly, like, I don't know, that was, like, the most lighthearted, like, attempt at murdering someone in the entirety of the SMP, but it was, like, almost perfect for their characters in
Yeah.
a way, because Jack's whole thing is that he's never taken, like,
He's
Jack
never
and
taken
Nikki's whole thing
seriously. Yeah.
is that neither of them are ever, like, taken seriously, and no one, like, ever listens to them. So it was almost, like, incredibly, like, ironically sad that, like, the reason that they
Yeah.
fail to kill him is because no one takes Jack seriously, and because no one listens to Nikki, and so Tommy wouldn't shut up and just listen to her and go with her.
It was
like-
just
Yeah.
it was just such a perfect little thing that happened. I was like, this, like, nothing since then has, like, really just had the same vibes. I want Rocket Duo back, bro. I just want them.
Same.
Just want them back.
They don't
Hey,
even have to be
Jack.
killing Tommy anymore. I just
Hey
want
Jack,
them.
you know, the Syndicate could use like another member.
Yeah,
You could like
man.
be Rocket Duo with Nikki and Syndicate.
Dude, get your, like, healthy healing arc yet now.
Unfortunately, he is anti-anarchy.
Yeah, he's very much.
Damn.
Although he could always change his mind.
But
Which is very interesting to me.
But to be fair, there is a stream where Nikki is in her underground city, and Jack comes in and tries to break apart her logic about anarchy, where he's like, well, what's stopping me from just fucking stealing everything and like blowing up your base and taking all your chickens? And Nikki just
She
says,
says nothing.
Nothing. She's like, there is nothing stopping you from doing that, but why would you do it? And Jack just kind of stops and is like, I'm sorry, Nikki. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't get all this stuff. And he goes on this whole rant. And it's just, like, one of the most interesting points of, like, Jack's character because, like, he potentially could be on, like, a side that's somewhat close to the Syndicate. He just is a guy who's been fucked over so many times that he doesn't know what the hell to do. But,
Yeah.
I don't know. He's very...
Here's the hope.
Here's the hoping.
Oh.
Anyways, remember
okay,
that
wait,
time
we
when
should probably
Jack
bring it
tried to
back
get a
to
warden job with
Sam.
Sam?
Sorry, we're always getting off topic on it.
Doesn't Sam have this whole thing where, like, wasn't it, like, canon that Quackity was his son at some point? Or
What?
at least head canon?
It was...
That's
I
What?
think it was retconned, because, like, at first what happened was, like, there's a stream where, like, Quackity's, like, robbing Rambu with Carl, and I think it's Sapnap, most likely, it's just the three. And, Sam is like, oh, I couldn't kill him, he's too cute, oh, like, you know, like, he's, like, always, like, taking care of him, so people were like, oh, like, you know, Sam is, like, acting like Quackity's, like, dad, and this is this whole thing that happened, because Quackity, like, you know, he's not gonna, like, spend his time grinding on Minecraft to get armor and shit, he has, like, school and stuff, and you know, that's just not his strength, so Sam was like, I'll give you armor and, like, you know, nice things, and so that's where that came from, but it definitely, I think, got retconned, because they're just business partners, like, there's no
Yeah.
Yeah,
familial
yeah.
stuff. Like, it's not, they're just partners in
I,
crime.
They feel like begrudging friends at best. Like, I don't even
Yeah.
think Sam really likes Quackity.
It would be
He's
really
just also
funny
like,
if
yeah,
they
Quackity
both
thinks
that
Sam's an
back,
idiot,
though.
What?
It would be really funny if they both got back, though, and they were just, like, estranged parent and son that have to work together now, and they're both
That
just
would
like
be
kind of
funny as
bitter
fuck.
about it.
That'd be a game changer. That'd be hilarious.
That'd be wild because canonically, Quackity in the very first day on the server, he talks about how, I mean, this is his character. I mean, he was like, he's talking about how he went to juvie and he got a scar or something.
Yeah, right?
So you gotta wonder what the fuck happened between Sam and Quackity, if they really were like father and son. Like, what the hell? So, I don't know.
That's a very...
So I'm very suddenly reminded of the fact that Quackity asked Foolish to make him armor once he invented him Las Nevadas, and he talks about how Sam used to give him armor and then stopped because he kept losing it all.
Oh my god, he would lose it in the lava 24/7.
No, that was actually, this is what reminded me of it, because when Dream gave Sam the stack of diamond blocks to build a prison,
Did
Sam
he use
was going
it
like,
on
I can use
Quackity?
these to make armor for Quackity when he loses it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god, wait, the connection there, though, Sam making the prison out of...
To pay for Quackity's
getting
armor
paid.
loss.
Okay, wait, but think of the connection there of just, like, Dream paid Sam to make the prison with diamond blocks. Sam used those diamond blocks to make Quackity armor. Sam became the warden of the prison and Dream's the prisoner, and now Quackity is the one coming in to torture Dream.
Yeah.
What the heck is that?
The red
You
string map
can
is
even
pretty
phrase
wild.
it as Sam made the prison for Quackity. As in, like,
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Super conspiracy theory. You're connecting the dots. You're like, you're out here with the red string. You're going to town. Like, damn.
We
Yeah.
figured it out, guys. The prison was built for Quackity's armor
oh
payments.
no, I meant more in the sense of, like, he built the prison, like, to help Quackity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to
he's
gain
paying.
diamonds.
The prison is paying for Quackity's armor.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
So, like, he built it for the sake of Quackity. And now he's let him in to torture people.
I mean, I've seen people make jokes about how DSMP is actually just some sort of weird dating simulator, RPG slice of life game, all from Quackity's perspective or something. It was the weirdest theory ever. It wasn't weird actually. It was really interesting, but it was just funny because now that you bring it up, you can actually connect a lot of things. They just go back to Quackity. I don't know. That's pretty wild. Jesus Christ. I completely forgot that he was always losing his armor. Oh my god.
I think he lost it again, actually, fairly recently.
There it is.
Because I remember something about, where'd your armor go? And he just doesn't talk about it.
To be fair, the first 5 minutes I played Minecraft, I also lost my armor and then never played it again. So, on mad respect to Quackity.
Relatable. We are interrupting your regularly scheduled broadcast with breaking news. This week's Mellohi Spotlight is here, with another great fan content creator for your viewing pleasure. If you don't know, the Spotlight section is where we shout out a content creator in the Minecraft YouTuber and Dream SMP fandoms to let you wonderful viewers discover new and amazing people to watch. We know that a big part of what makes our fandom so incredible is how many talented people we have creating amazing content in it, and we want to spread that word for them. This week, our spotlight is on an artist who happens to also do a few animations, Kane Turn. Kane is an artist who creates a lot of really cool fan art of the Dream SMP content creators and characters. Particularly the ones that stand out to me at least are her Quackity, Schlatt, Wilbur, Fundy, Puns, Purpled. She's done everybody and anybody. All of their character designs capture the personality of the characters really, really well. She uses color in a really wonderful way with these dynamic poses and perspectives that fit perfectly within each piece of art that portray your favorite characters to look really, really cool and just sort of fit with the vibe that you would get from them. It all comes together to portray this very strong emotions and personality in each piece. Plus, they've made art of so many of the characters and the content creators that you're pretty much inevitably going to find one of your favorite characters. And that's not even to mention their animations that they have on YouTube. While most of them are pretty short and there's only a few, the ones that Kane has made are all very, very funny, or they're just really, really cool, like her animation with Wilbur in the song Revived. Personally, I think my favorite is their Betray Somebody animatic, but they also have some with the Dream Team and with Quackity that are just kind of really cute and funny. You can check out Cain at Caintern, spelled CAINTERNN, on YouTube or Instagram. Go and drop them a follow. Before we get back to the episode, if you have any content creators that you think deserve the spotlight, make sure to let us know by either dropping a comment below one of our YouTube videos or through our Twitter. Or, if you want to get real fancy, you can come and join our Discord and link them to us there. The more amazing content creators that you share with us, the more amazing content creators we can share with everyone else. Catch you all next time. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Bye! Wait, you know what? Let's talk about Quackity and Sam's actual canon relationship, other than just the father and son memes, because those two are an interesting duo together. Other than Quackity totally male wife manipulating him, but
Oh my god. You're not wrong, but now I'm thinking about, I was watching all those campy, Spy Kids films, and then they always have, the male wife character, who's, the henchman to the, oh my god, I'm sorry. Oh
man. But, they have an interesting working relationship as well, just, in the way that they operate together.
Blowing up Purple's UFO has one of the most interesting, insights into their dynamic. That, and then when Dream, they think Dream escapes, and, Techno does escape. Oh my god, they'll work together.
They lose their
and
shit.
Then it just blows up.
They're not, when things are fine, they're okay together. And then as soon as something goes wrong, it just becomes a lot of
screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so interesting because Quackity knows that they're super bad guys and he's proud of it. But Sam is sitting there well, we're not doing anything wrong. And then Quackity just looks at him like he's an idiot because he kind of is in that aspect.
Yeah,
it's
Sam
very
has
funny
this
to
very
watch.
black and white view of the world, which is interesting because it kind of relates him to Puffy when you think about it, because Puffy kind of has a similar aspect of once you've done something wrong.
They worked together against the egg, right?
Yeah, they did.
They kind of get along because
the
of
Sam
that.
and Puffy friendship is actually really interesting, just because
Yeah.
people tend to be I don't know. There's a lot there, but there's also not a lot of focus on it because a lot of people were like, "What's the Eggpire arc? Shut the hell up, okay? It's the best arc."
Bruh, it's only the most fascinating character arc ever.
Seeing Sam go from where he started in that arc to where he ended to where Puffy started and where she ended. It's they didn't switch places, but it's just very interesting. Because Puffy and Sam, I wouldn't say they're they're not even parallels. There's something about them that they're just very similar, but then they ended up diverging in a way that is just interesting. Because now Puffy's on her I guess evil arc. I don't know. I don't know what she's doing.
Sam's honestly the one having the evil arc.
Yeah,
out of
Sam
the two of them. I don't feel like Puffy's done much.
Yeah, no,
that she wasn't already doing.
I think Puffy hasn't really done much since the Red Banquet, so
Yeah.
I'm assuming that whatever her plans for her lore, they're tied up with the egg arc, so you probably won't see much
that's
more of
probably
character
true.
Puffy until that happens.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we get more. I love seeing her interact with Sam. I just because it's always just interesting because somehow they end up arguing about something, and they both are at odds about what they're gonna do, and then they'll both agree, and then they'll disagree. And Sam right now is in that position of he thinks that he is doing what's
He's right.
Well, not even what's right, what must be done. It's the best solution, and he knows what's best for the server.
He's being a dream Kinney.
I mean he is green, so it's not.
Yeah.
He's gotta go far.
It's just a thing with green.
Wait
Wait a minute. I'm forming a connection here. Tubbo wears a green shirt. Dream and Sam, both green. Both make terrible decisions, or really rude, mean decisions based off what they think is best for the majority around them.
You're not wrong.
You're not
The
wrong.
color green just
You
happens
forgot
to be...
Philza.
The color of green is evil on this.
Philza decided to join in as someone who's gonna bomb a whole country because he was
Yeah, Phil does the same thing! What the hell is this?
he's green.
I'm noticing a trend.
We're noticing a trend here. Our favorite green war criminals.
Yeah,
The
like
faves.
what the heck? Oh man. Yeah, no,
Like, I don't know if anyone listening to this else here that some of you probably have, but the joke that Technoblade just gets along with all the green, blonde war criminals on the server.
yes.
Like Philza, why did I say Techno? Philza, Dream, Tubbo actually.
He does
Because
have
even though there was a whole Butcher Army thing, they actually got along pretty well in Pogtopia.
Yeah.
Mm.
And Tubbo understood why what happened at the execution happened.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like on pretty neutral terms right now, so they could actually become like allies later on, which is cool.
Maybe.
I do want to see that though, because that would be cool.
That would be really cool. Tubbo's kind of traumatized. I think the kid needs therapy first.
Dude,
Really,
the entire
please.
SMP needs therapy.
I know, but Tubbo's got this
Like,
whole like
I-
repression
look,
thing going on.
Look, peer pressure duo. I see why people make it the name for Techno and Ranboo, but it could also be applied. You know what? You know what? If they do end up doing stuff together on the SMP,
It should just be.
peer pressure trio.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yo!
It's like a trio. Just like TNT Duo should not be TNT Duo, it should be TNT Trio, because TNT Duo doesn't make sense for Quackity and Wilbur. But it makes sense if
Quackity
you
and
put
Wilbur
all of
is
them
more,
together!
like, mad.
How did that even happen? Because like Quackity used TNT like once.
Yeah, it was originally Wilbur and Dream.
Dream.
And then
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
somehow
that makes
got
way more sense because both of them are known for using TNT all the time.
yeah, and then it got taken to be used for Quackity and Wilbur.
In the
who
same
used to
way,
be
Bench
Beanie
Trio
Duo.
doesn't make sense. TNT Duo and Mad Duo don't make sense.
Have the three of them had the three bench you have they ever actually like been on a bench?
They all
Together
have
at the same
individually. They
time?
haven't
No.
all it together. No.
Dream, on the other
And
hand,
they
has
talk
been on
about
the
this-
bench with the two of them all at the same time.
Nikki
Yeah,
has.
that should be the bench trio. That
Nikki
should be
and
the bench
Fundy
trio. It should be
have.
Dream, Tubbo. Should be Dream, Tubbo, and Tommy. That's the new bench trio.
We've decided.
And we have talked before about bench trio and how they're less of like three people. who
And more
are
like
friends
two
and more
people and
three
then
people.
the third wheel.
They're more like three people who are
It's a
all have
friendship
individual friendships
triangle.
with each other,
It is a
But they don't
friendship
really-
triangle.
but they don't really do stuff as a group very
Yeah.
often.
They don't. Yeah.
They're not a trio. They're three duos.
Does Sam and Quackity have a duo name?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Are
Actually,
they
don't think so.
like?
What?
I feel,
That one's quite well
Dude,
known.
what the hell? They're
I
like
feel
literal
like-
business partners.
yeah. the
Business duo.
Business
Casino
duo.
duo.
Like
Capitalism.
I know, like Sam and Dream are prison duo, right?
Torture
like
duo.
that's. Oh God,
I don't
Bruh.
know.
work.
Isn't Torture Duo is Dream and Punk.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
That makes sense.
Nice.
You've no idea how badly I want Ponk to like
We should
break Dream
we should
out
call
of there
Sam
and then
and
just be like,
Quackity
all right.
like
They should unionize against Sam.
Yes, they
yes,
should.
Sam and Quackity should be capitalism duo.
Honestly,
Yeah.
yes, that
Capitalist
is
duo.
exactly what they're trying to do with this whole bank and casino thing,
Exactly.
which the bank has been taking
I want the
literally
bank
ages.
to happen so bad. I just want to see people have to deal with loans on the server. That'd be so funny. It'd be so. Oh my god. They're like, oh, everything is fine. I can go do whatever I want on the server. Yay! And then they're like, all of a sudden, it's like, hey, guess what? You're gonna default on your loan soon, and we're gonna seize your property by blowing it up. Fuck you. Like, that would be just. Oh my god.
I mean, Purple already had that thing where he technically owns all of the land past Tommy's house, and you have to
True.
pass through his mortgage land seller
Nice.
place in order to buy it. But then he got inactive on the
Real
server,
estate.
so nothing ever happened with it except for him
Damn.
making a couple jokes.
I mean, Purple's
But,
a part of
like-
Las Nevadas, you know?
Yeah, I know. Like, it's just Las Nevadas is literally
has
just
plans.
capitalism crew
Capitalism.
in actuality.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh wait, Vegas Disaster. Though that's more of an AU.
What's that?
Okay. Yeah.
Is that where everything goes wrong? Because it should.
'Cause it
Fuck
should-
Las
I mean, it's
Nevadas.
going to. Look at Quackity's entire arc. I'm sorry, as this is a theory, but there is no way Quackity's arc doesn't end with a massive L. His character is
Yeah.
almost
I'm-
destined
yeah.
to just either
Yeah.
die, which would be kind of sad. But again, he's like Icarus, or he's somehow gonna take an L.
I did like this whole analysis on this back in December or something, about like he's always been destined to fail. It's just like this thing about his character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I feel
Like he never
that's
really has a
just-
true victory. Like he has temporary victories.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
Like, I can't
I have things
see-
like where it will seem like he's winning and suddenly he's
he
not.
gets backhanded by life.
But
Like, oh
he's-
my god.
He's overconfident. He like stretches
Yeah.
too far.
Yeah, I can't see Los Nevadas, like, ending in
Ending
any
well.
other way than it getting, like, absolutely destroyed and Quacky being left with nothing. Which,
Oh, it's gonna
honestly,
be a shame
at
to
this
see all those
point, I
nice
kind
You know
of,
what the
that's
best
what I
ending
want.
for Las Nevadas would be? I want Purple to take it over. I want Purple to be winning.
Hell yeah.
Honestly, that would
And
be
it's kind
a...
of awkward with the casino because he's running it, but he's not an adult, so he can't actually like do anything there. But he's in charge.
Watch Purple take over and just be better at it than Quackity.
Honestly, that'd be kind of an interesting, like, thing to play out, though, when you think about it, because Purple literally, like, the only reason he's there is because Quackity blew up, like, everything
home.
that was...
I stand by
Important
my
on the
Tracer
server.
Purple theory.
Oh god, Foolish made the bunker into
Oh.
the fucking
He's the imposter.
Among Us.
If that actually comes up in lore, I'm gonna lose my mind.
The character who's like semi-canonically an alien being the imposter.
I mean,
No,
the
no,
plot
it's-
twist of Purple,
God.
like, just betraying everyone and murdering them would be... honestly,
Okay,
it
no,
would be
but
taking
everybody-
homage from his mentor puns, and it would be epic. Like, the two mercenaries both betraying the groups that they get assigned with, like, come on, man. That's too good.
No, okay, but like, I saw this Tumblr meme where everybody's in the Among Us bunker,
Yeah.
and Quackity and Sam are both like, "There's a traitor among us. Who is it?" And everyone else in the Lost Device just puts up their hands like, "That's me." It's like, "No, wait, I'm the traitor. What do you mean I'm the traitor?"
I wanted the actual
like,
traitor to be Jack
Foolish
Manifold
is
in the vents.
traitor. Foolish is the traitor because of his friendship with Pog and because of the deal he made with Rombo. Purple is a traitor because
He's an imposter.
Quackity blew up his house. Oh, and also Foolish is also a traitor because Quackity let him die.
Alright.
Bundy is a traitor because he actually listened to his dreams
Nice.
and went along with Quackity to see what he was up to.
Mm-hmm.
And also because he has a crush on Dream. Let's see who else. Slime is the traitor because he is actually besties with Dream XD.
I feel like Sam's the only one who's not a traitor, but it doesn't matter because
Oh no, Sam is a traitor, but not in the way you think. He thinks that Quackity is just really running the casino really badly, and he's like, I could do better than you. They're all just traitors.
honestly though, like Quackity like surrounded himself with people that like I think he feels like they have like he's made them like
Attached.
attached like it's all or nothing for all of them is what he's been trying to do. But when you think about it, like
They're
That's
just gonna
not
drop him in a heartbeat.
really
It's really
true.
interesting.
And like
It's actually really interesting to think about in relationship to his characters. Like, is that the way he thinks? Like, is he going in with the understanding, with like the belief that other people see things the way he does?
I don't know. It's hard
Like,
to tell with
is
him.
that how he felt back in like Manberg, where he felt like he had to stay?
Yeah. I know definitely like, Quackity's thing is that like he feels like Los Nevadas is his all or nothing. Like he's got nothing outside of that place. He's put everything and anything into it. Like that's all he has. And I think he's tried to establish the same feeling in everyone else loyal to it. I think the only one who he's not doing that with is Sam, because he knows Sam has the prison. Like Sam's all or nothing is the prison to an extent, because Sam has put so much of himself into it and just kind of like ruined who he is as a person for the prison. So like he doesn't need to do the same thing with them to make them loyal to Las Nevadas, because he's got Sam wrapped around his finger, so well he thinks, as long as the prison's around and he can control, you know, what, like he can manipulate Sam when involving the prison. And then I think he's trying to, like, with the contracts and everything, he's trying to get all of the Las Nevadas
That's
crew.
actually something else interesting up about Sam that might be relevant for future lore, is the fact that while he's technically still business partners with Quackity, he is going against what Quackity wants right now by hiding the fact that Dream is still in the prison.
Yes.
But it makes sense
and when
for his
that gets
character,
revealed, that's going to be really interesting to see how the characters react to that. Like, is it going to be like they're going to have like a fight, but then make up over it and still work together, or is it going to be
they're just going to crash and burn?
Partnership? Is it going to? Are they going to keep their partnership, but will there be like a change in the dynamic of it? Because at the moment it's mostly just like Quackity telling Sam to do stuff and like guilting him into it.
Yeah, I feel like
a change.
I feel like there's not going to be a chance for that to happen until after Dream's already escaped with Technoblade. Because But I also, like, I understand why Sam would follow along with what Dream wants, as in, don't tell Quackity about it, don't let him in. And it's not just because he doesn't want Dream to die because of the revive book, but it's also because, remember when he was yelling at Tommy about he wanted to kill him, and so screaming about how everything was better when it was just the two of us.
Yeah.
And now it's just the two of them again.
Yep. Which, honestly, yeah, I feel like we should study that and then that in conjunction specifically with his decision in his latest, like, lore stream when it comes to the prison, because that was a really interesting moment, I feel like, for his character, where we finally get him he's hiding something from Quackity now. He's siding with Dream almost in a way, but, like, obviously we know that it's not because he actually cared. Like, it's so, like, he cares about Dream, kind of, but in this really weird way where it's like...
He cares about it like he would an object.
Yeah, or like...
Yeah,
he doesn't trust Dream.
Yeah.
Or even, like, want what's best for him.
When you think about it,
he just...
Sam cares about Dream the same way that Tommy cares about the discs. It's not about what the thing or the person actually is. It's about, like, the principle of the matter.
Maybe? I don't know.
It's about what it means.
What it represents.
To them. Yeah.
He's got this very odd mentality about, like, his obligation or responsibility with the prison, and specifically how that correlates to his responsibility with Dream. And, like, I'm curious, like, what in Sam's mind is the purpose of the prison. Like, I think, for the most part, it's in his mind, the whole point of the prison is to keep something contained. It's to protect the server. And I'm curious how in his mind that justifies keeping Dream alive, because I think most people would be, if it wasn't for the revive book, but at this point they've kind of given up on, I think Quackity at least has given up on actually getting it out of him because he knows he won't be able to, and it's just too much work. Is like, how does Sam justify keeping him alive? Because to us at least, like, obviously the thing that is the safest to do if you think Dream is a threat is to just kill him off, like, right? Because he doesn't provide anything at this point, because you can't get the revive book from him. You could maybe get him to use it for you, but that's, like, a risk, and you're always fighting the chance that he will break out. So, in Sam's mind, what makes it worth it to keep Dream alive? Or, like, why does he think that that is what he needs to do?
Any thoughts?
I have no idea.
I think it might be, and I think this might be actually a good thing to wrap the episode up on. I think it might be sort of a thing about purpose, about like let's say Dream dies in the prison, right? What does Sam have left? Because he's made the prison everything to him. What does he do if he doesn't have that anymore?
That's
like,
true.
You push relationships over the prison.
Yeah.
He's like focused more on it than anything else. He spent so much time there.
You think it's
he's also
that?
scared
that
of
he's
Fran
just so
dying.
attached?
That's like one of his biggest fears, is his Fran dying.
He will literally roll back the server if she dies.
So I mean, like, it could be as simple as he just needs Dream alive because he needs someone to bring back Fran. Like, that's, it could be that simple. Like, there could obviously be other things, but that could be, like, the driving force, because, I mean, he has threatened people before over that dog. He has, like, killed people over that dog, so.
True. I don't know, he's got, like, this weird, like, sense of almost obligation to him when it comes to, like, how he feels about Dream. Like, he doesn't feel, Like, it doesn't feel like he thinks of Dream as a person, right? Like, it feels like he thinks of him as, like, an animal or a monster or an object that he has to keep contained. But, like, I feel like at this point he's just become so wrapped up in the idea that, like, I have to protect the server from Dream, I have to keep him locked up, that he has just sort of, like, forgotten anything, or, like, it's become such a mantra for him that he's forgotten the reason why, or, like, why it's important. There is no why anymore. It's just that is his goal. And the reason why it's his goal is sort of just faded to the background because he spent so long obsessed with making sure it stays the way he wants it.
Do you think he's scared of death?
I mean, maybe. I feel like
Do you think that might be why he's so adamant about keeping Dream alive? Because Dream's the only person who can bring anyone back. And even though Dream won't give up the revive book, he has shown himself perfectly fine with reviving other people.
Yeah, it's very odd.
Regardless, this is why people should be character Sam apologists. I'm just saying. If you're not the trifecta of character Quackity, character Sam, and a character apologist, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, come on.
Yeah, I don't know. Sam is a very complicated character, and I think because we don't get his we get his perspective in small doses, right? And it's always after something's gone wrong. Like, I feel like the most insight into him specifically that we've gotten, like, recently in his perspective on things was, like, his giant rant at Dream.
Tommy?
No, not Tom. Like, that is one, but his giant rant at Dream most recently revealed, like, a lot about his insight into...
his mentality. His mindset.
Alright, I think that's about us for our time, so...
Alright.
I guess if you have any opinions on character Sam, like, leave us a comment, or join our Discord, or tell us on Twitter.
I hear we're getting lore about Sam soon, so here's to hoping soon actually means what it means.
Yes, please.
Bye.
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 Well, thanks for listening to the 23rd episode of Mellohi, and we hope you enjoyed it. If there's any topic you'd like to hear us discuss, feel free to leave a comment or find us on Twitter at Mellohi Podcast. We can also ask us questions or just get updates about new episodes. We also have a Discord server that you can find a link to in the description. See you next time!